I've been running silent for a while and I was not being jammed. But regardless, I have broken radio silence and I have to say, I've yet to read a bad Star Wars novel about Starfighter pilots. Welcome to another episode of Star Wars Talk. I'm Jon Berry and today I'm reviewing Star Wars Alphabet Squadron by Alexander Freed. So if you haven't guessed, Alphabet Squadron is about a bunch of Starfighter pilots. And in case you're wondering, it is set after the Battle of Endor in canon. I always say that wrong. But in the Disney timeline, the new films, that timeline, though it's set, essentially around the same time as the Aftermath trilogy and as the Battlefront 2 campaign. And like the Battlefront 2 campaign, our main character is an Imperial... how did I say that wrong? An Imperial defector. And we get a better look at what it's actually like for Imperial defectors who defect to the New Republic to assist in the fight against the Empire, more or less. And essentially, if you played, man, I'm getting my verbs wrong. If you played the Battlefront 2 campaign, what you see is two special forces, two Imperial Spec Force, if you will, whatever you want to call them, Iden and Del, they defect and they immediately get into the fight against the Empire. Probably helped that they had to, they fought their way through through Imperials, and they immediately help fight the Empire to save Naboo in Operation Cinder. Not quite the case in this. We get our main character, we do find out, I should say, actually let's not go too far though, because there'll be some spoilers. So, before I get into that, I encourage you to read if you have not yet done so. Now let's get into the spoilers. So our main character, let me just make sure I'm saying her name right. Yrica Quell, our main character Yrica Quell, is an Imperial defector from the 204th Fighter Wing, I think it's called, aka Shadow Wing, which is like one of the Empire's best Starfighter wings, TIE Fighter wings ever. She's defected from there in the aftermath of Operation Cinder. Though her defection was not as clean as Iden and Del's were in the Battlefront campaign, even though both are because of Cinder. Before I tell you about her defection, let's set her up a little bit. We discovered that before she joined the Empire, she had rebel sympathies, and her intention was to get some experience, to join the Imperial Academy, learn how to fly, and then defect. But she decided against it when she was at the academy, thinking she wants to get more, and then she just, she got essentially trapped in the propaganda. She essentially got sucked into the Empire and stuck there. She felt like she had no way out. And then, so we find that out. And that's slowly revealed to us. And then she tells the story of her defection, where she claimed she, tried her best to stop Operation Cinder from happening on Narcosis. I think that's the name of the planet. And of course, there was no reason, literally no reason. At least some Operation Cinder planets had minor strategic reasons. You can argue. But most just don't. At all. But so, that's her story, and then she's brought to a place called Traitor's Remorse when she is picked up by the New Republic, which is just basically, that's where all the defectors go. And what happens to them there kind of depends. Some are just, okay, you're going to go crew our captured Star Destroyers now, fight against the Empire and all that. That literally happens to some, they're like the low of the low, they're the technicians and engineers, the people who are truly on the bottom of the rung, the people that everyone walk over. While Starfighter pilots and higher officers are they're not necessarily brought right into the Republic, but they're not arrested and tried either. those are like, say, for the top people who get that punishment. Kind of people in the middle. And there's other tiers you could say, but no. Yoko Qua is in that group where she's a Starfighter pilot. She's considered, a more high risk, but not worthy of being sent, into prison. So think of Trader's Remorse as a transfer camp, if you will. A very open one. Minimum security it's a minimum security facility. It's not a prison camp, it's not a internment or concentration camp. It's not even, and transfer camp may not be a best way. I don't know what's the best equivalent we've had in American history or world history. Probably a transfer camp might be the best. A transfer camp in the aftermath of a humanitarian crisis. So think a tragedy, a disaster relief. Probably more that type of camp rather than a camp for prisoners of war. Still, probably not the best analogy I got. But that's kind of what Trader's Remorse is. Just a place that traders who have not been given the opportunity, or who are not, given the opportunity to serve in the New Republic military, but are not necessarily imprisoned and tried. The people in between, who they don't necessarily want them in the New Republic quite yet for reasons, but they don't necessarily want to let them go or try them, so they're just kind of there and they can leave when they want, but most don't because they have no place to go. And actually, there's one character who gets three, if you quote unquote, interludes in the book, and one's at the very end is how we end the book. He's an Imperial defector, and through him, we kind of learn that, or not defector, deserter. Like, for those who leave the Empire, but not involved in the New Republic in some form, they have a very, that they're essentially always going to be on the run in some form. The past is always going to be catching up to them, whether it be radical Imperials looking to take them out, or just the New Republic tracking them down. And the New Republic shadier elements also tracking them down. And I mean the shady elements. Think those who have not yet realized that they're no longer a rebellion who have to fight somewhat underhandedly, that they need to step above what they used to have to do. Think of it that way. So we learned that the life of an Imperial deserter is not easy. So that essentially leaves two options for Imperials: stay with the Empire, or join the New Republic, or just stay at the New Republic facilities housing them because they have no place else to be. And for those who stay with the Empire, they're either fanatics or they're dead inside. And that's what we find out is what Yoko Qua is like before she defects. She's essentially dead inside, and her superior actually orders her to defect, knowing that it will essentially save her in the long run. Which is kind of interesting. Granted, we find out that he does desert, but he decides to go back because he's tired of running from his past, running from everyone about his past. Not necessarily his political views, but they kind of talk about to a certain extent, but his past itself. Kind of interesting, that little bit right there. So I should probably talk about Alphabet Squadron itself. An A-Wing, a B-Wing, a X-Wing, a Y-Wing, and a U-Wing. A mixed fighter squadron. And they address that in there, and the other pilots make fun of Alphabet Squadron. They use the term alphabet, and alphabet's worth of ships, derisively for the squadron. Though that eventually does become the squadron's name. So yeah, it's an alphabet worth of ships. And also a mixture of pilots. We have actually two former Imperials, Yoko Qua, who defected in the aftermath of Cinder. We have another one who's a Y-Wing pilot. He defected before Alderaan, though the reasons why he defected were because the Empire discovered he was extorting traders and freighter pilots. So so that's why he defected. At least Ryoka, even once we find out the actual story of her defection, is still, her defection is much better. And actually I talked about that, because her superior in the Empire ordered her to defect, knowing that, would be best for her if she did, for her mental health, if you will, so she's no longer dead inside. Because she claimed she tried to stop Cinder, she actually carried Cinder out. Ryoka Quell did carry Cinder out. But she felt the guilt of it, and her superior major, I forget his name. Actually, let me check, because yeah, Major Soren Kais, I think I got that right, ordered Ryoka to defect, and then he deserted. And he's the one in the interludes, if you will. And he goes back. But that's kind of an interesting contrast. And he also talked about, he tried to convince the others in the squadron who, like Ryoka, were essentially dead inside because of what they've done with the Empire. They're not fanatics either. They weren't the fanatics, but they're dead inside. But only Ryoka was the only one who actually went through it and defected. And he, of course, deserted himself. So it's kind of interesting how that happened. But yeah, and then of course Ryoka's recruited by New Republic intelligence, and kind of a New Republic intelligence operative wants to form a group to take down the Trio Force, to take down Shadow Wing. And he's convinced that Ryoka was lying about how she defected. And now that he discovered the truth, he is going to use it against her. He found out that she did carry out Cinder, and he used that. When she was in no state to really be interrogated, I gotta say. No. She was piloting an X-Wing trying to save another planet from destruction. Actually, save it this time. And, she destroyed the X-Wing doing so, overheated it and all that. And physically she was in no state, and he still got that out of her. Bad on you, New Republic operative who I forgot your name of, bad on you. But he essentially is going to use that now against her to make sure she does what he wants. But there's a way Ryoka could overcome that. Tell somebody else. It's possible. But yeah, so we find that out, and actually, when we hear a lot from Ryoka that she wants to prove herself. Essentially really let go of her past, if you will, or redeem the mistakes she made in the past. And she started saving that plan because she saw that as the best way to, and not necessarily to redeem herself in the eyes of the Republic, but in her own eyes. Which I think is quite interesting. And because we got a lot of other pilots as well. The A-Wing pilot, the B-Wing pilot, who are the only survivors of their squadron. In fact, most of the pilots, minus the U-Wing pilot who we know the least about, are the only survivors of their respective squadrons, more or less. Like Ryoka, she's not the only surviving member of the Trio Force of Shadow Wing, but she's the only one who defected. Though if you read the TIE Fighter comic, there are also other members of the Trio Force who have rebel sympathies who could have defected. But that's a totally different thing. I don't know that because I hear other people talking about that. I don't read the comics. Don't have enough time. The A-Wing and the B-Wing pilot are the only surviving members of their squadron, but not the only surviving members. They are of their respective squadrons, and the squadrons were assigned to the same ship, and their ship got the intelligence that allowed Alphabet Squadron to know where the Trio Force was. And then of course there's also the U-Wing pilot, who's the most mysterious. We know hardly anything about her. She only talks twice in the book. So we don't know much about her. Maybe we will, because Alphabet Squadron is supposed to be a trilogy if I'm correct. So it all remains to be seen. do I have a feeling the New Republic intelligence operative will be become the main antagonist of the series, along with Major Kais. He's going to become I think, a antagonist, but not the main one. I feel like that the New Republic operative is going to be the bigger intelligence. Oh, not intelligence. The bigger antagonist. I just don't know what. Especially for our main character in Yoko Quell. And of course, I should also say that Hera Syndulla was in this book. She's a general. She's leading a task force and helps, and essentially, helps the squadron where she can in her busy schedule. Because she's doing a lot more than just fighting against the Empire. Now she has to manage logistics. Yeah, I'm serious. She complained, in the book, I forget where, but Hera complains about having to manage logistics. And then, of course, they mentioned how, that she liberated Lasal, she fought at Scarif and Endor. Of course, one place they said that she led at Endor. I thought Lando led at Endor. Unless she led the Starfighter past and Lando led everyone, I don't know. Unless, Lando led the wing that was attacking the Death Star, or she led the wing that was distracting the other, that was doing more distraction-based, protecting the attacking, I don't know. I'm kind of curious on how that worked out. But they don't mention any of the Rebels characters by name except for Hera. But they mention her family, the Ghost, and her call sign Spectre. She was, I think, Spectre 1 or Spectre 2 in Rebels. That was her code name, her call sign. And they mentioned that in here, that with the Spectre, but that was kind of neat. That was also the time where Alphabet established as the Squadron's actual name. So we don't hear anything about the Rebel characters specifically, but generally how she misses them. And yeah, think about that. Ezra missing. Kanan dead. Sabine protecting Nosal. And who knows what else at this point. We don't know. And Zeb, he's doing something with Kallus. That's it. I don't know. I really don't know too much. But they allude, and because in Rebels they established that she does have, a son, Jason, but they don't mention him at all. So let's be real. Would you really want to take a child into a war zone? I'm just saying, maybe he's, I don't know, maybe Sabine's babysitting. I don't know. I honestly don't know. They don't talk about it. I wish they had. But maybe that's... But I think that's more, I don't know. That's a story to be told, let's say. But I would like to find out more about all that. Really, about what happened to the Rebels characters after Endor. We know most about Hera, but that's it. I want to learn about the others. But we just gotta wait and see. And this book's about Alphabet Squadron, not about the Rebels characters. Let's remember that. But I would like some intersection. But speaking of that, we know that Kallus in Rebels defected to the Empire, or to the Rebels. Yoga defected to the Rebels as well, to the New Republic. I think, for Yoko to overcome, I think she still has some guilt about what she did in Cinder, and she's obviously going to be, the New Republic intelligence operative, whose motives I don't think are the best. I really don't think are the best. He's using that he knows that she did over her. But if Kallus comes in, another Imperial defector who did commit an atrocity against a species he's now making friends with, he could be someone to help, Yoko Quell, kind of move past her past, if you will. And Hera too. If she told Hera, I think Hera would help pursue is that. That I think is what needs to be happening. Will it? I don't know. We just gotta wait and see. But regardless, I found Alphabet Squadron to be an enjoyable read. I thoroughly enjoyed it. and there's a lot to talk about, but I think I would like to end with this. On one of the missions that Hero sends Alphabet Squadron on, it's their second one, and it does not go badly like their first one. She sends them to get supplies from an old rebel base, which used to be a Jedi temple. And she did it on purpose because she knew the squadron needed to bond. So she sent them there hoping the Force would help them bond. And it does, with all but Yoka, because she wasn't with the group at the time. But you could tell, you could tell from the way it's, they can't really initially assume that, or actually they just assumed that, even if Hera knew about it being a Jedi temple, she didn't know there was going to be any strange visual phenomena, they called it. But no, we gotta think a little bit into Hera's head, if I remember how it was worded, and she essentially thinks to herself, you still have that touch, she knew that visual phenomena caused by the Force was a possibility, and she sent them there on purpose so that maybe the Force will help them bring together. Now, if only Yoka had been with that group, maybe she would have a better working relationship with her squadron. I don't know. But I really did like that. It really tied everything, I think, together in some regards. Because not necessarily in regards to characters and other... Well, characters, yes. But the mixed squadron. Mixed pilots are vastly different with vastly different ships. They're brought together. They gotta learn each other's weaknesses and work together as a squadron. And they also got to balance how their ships are different. Which I think is quite neat, to say the least. There's one mission they go on where the A-Wing and the X-Wing are paired together, and the Y-Wing and B-Wing are paired together because the slower ships are paired together and the faster ships are paired together because they need to do a patrol. So the Y-Wing and B-Wing are given a short perimeter to patrol because they're slower, while the A-Wing and X-Wing get the larger perimeter to patrol because they're faster. And then the U-Wing is the one that is substituted out for any ship, balancing the ship's speeds in that case, and weaknesses. And you see that a lot where ships are assigned duties based off of their abilities. So, Y-Wing and B-Wing are set in on heavy attacks, while the A-Wing supports the Y-Wing and the X-Wing supports the B-Wing to help keep ties off. While the U-Wing is doing infiltration with a bunch of spec forces aboard, New Republic spec forces. But yes, I did find it to be a good read. So, I would like to hear from you. What did you think of Alphabet Squadron? Let me know down below. Also, feel free to subscribe to my channel for future Star Wars content and reviews. Also, check me out on social media, on my website, join my Discord, or support me on Patreon. Links for all that stuff are in the description. Lastly, feel free to check out the playlist or the video on screen now, or soon. And as always, have a good day, a good night, wherever you are. May the Force be with you, always.